Hi everyone, it's Neil. So, in case it's not completely self-explanatory, I just thought I'd talk you very quickly through the plan for getting all your work done and ready to hand in January. Now, I can promise you this plan absolutely works, but as you'll see, it's kind of quite relentless. There isn't very much room for slippage. Okay, but if you're able to stick with it, and if you do stick with it, I absolutely promise you this works really well. Okay, and it means that you'll be done pretty much by the end of this term as well. And I know, most people have said to me, you don't really want to work over Christmas, and I completely understand that. So you'll see that we kind of keep on swapping our attention between the PGO2 assignment, linking theory and practice, and the PGO3 assignment, which is your action research project. I think it works best to get the two shorter PGO2 pieces out of the way first. If you've already done these, by the way, then just whack them up on the blog. We're going to use the blog every week for everyone to share their work with each other. Whack them up on the blog and start writing something else because you've already done it. So you might as well get ahead of yourself. That's always going to be a good idea. So this week, October the 10th to the 16th, it's going to be your student support essay. Next week, October the 17th to 23rd, it's going to be your quality enhancement essay. The following week, October 24th to the 30th, I'm going to put a slide deck up for you. You'll see it's on the blog. What we found is a really good way of getting people ready to write up their action research projects is to do them as a really short PowerPoint presentation. Effectively, this is sort of your essay plan. Now, there's a way of writing up the ARPs that I've already given you, but I'll put back up on the blog as well. The slide deck follows exactly that same way of doing things, and you're only allowed one slide per section of the essay. So it really makes you think well about, what are the headlines, what are the most important things I need to get into this part of the assignment. I've found in the past this is absolutely the best and most effective way of helping people get ready to write up their ARPs because they can be quite complex, baggy things otherwise, and it just means that you've got the whole of the ARP captured and ready to go. So you're going to do those slides, and then over the following 2 weeks on the ARP side of things, October 31st, November the 6th, I want you to sit down with one of your peers and actually present the slides to them and get feedback from them. So you talk them through with somebody, and the following week you can have some tutor feedback on those slides as well. So you'll be doing feedback stuff on the ARP side. On the linking theory and practice side, those 2 weeks, October 31st to November the 13th, you get to write up your longer essay section, which is the one where you write about your evaluation of some of the theories you've used now that you've actually used them. Okay, then PGO2 turns into feedback because you've written it then, because you've done your student support essay, you've done your quality enhancement essay, you've done the longer essay. So we're in feedback, November the 14th to 20th, peer feedback, 21st of November through December the 4th, tutor feedback. Okay, now I'll come back to this in a minute, but it's really important that you're ready for tutor feedback at that point, and I will explain why in a minute. While you're getting feedback and giving feedback on the essay, we go back to the action research project. You've got your essay plan for your action research project now because you've done your slides and you've had feedback on those slides. So from November the 14th to November the 27th, in that fortnight, that's the fortnight for you to write up your action research project using the plan you've been given. It's honestly fairly straightforward because you've got the plan to follow. You've already done the headlines for each section, so you just need to get it down, right? You need to sit yourself down and make yourself do it, basically, in that fortnight. And then from November the 28th till the end of term, you can have tutor feedback on that, right? Now, the 2 weeks that follow term, between the end of term and Christmas, the PG Cert tutors are mad with teaching. I'm going to be teaching, and Jerry is as well, every single day of those 2 weeks because we've got 16 groups on the go because it's the overlap time where we're doing the final sessions with you guys. We've got the normal sessions with the guys who started the year after you, the 2016-17 groups, and we have our first sessions with the new 2017-18 groups. So it's the one period of the year where we've actually got 3 years worth of PG Cert students all having sessions at the same time. So basically I'm teaching every day, and in the evenings I'm either flying or taking a train to go from one college to another. It's kind of crazy, but that means that there's no way I'm going to be able to give you any feedback in that fortnight. So that's why, going back up the list, if you want tutor feedback on your work, you really need to be doing it in those times in term when we're going to be available to you to be able to do it, okay? I'm also happy to do tutor feedback in the week after Christmas. So the week from December the 26th to January the 1st, I can do as much as possible feedback on final drafts that week. But I think it'll probably just be me because, to be honest, I'm not going to ask other tutors to work that week. I don't think it's fair. Just because I'm bonkers doesn't mean I need to ask anyone else to be. So, the more that we could have done during term time, I would really appreciate. Okay. And then the week from January the 2nd to January the 8th, it's teaching again. So the teaching for the PG Cert tutors is those 2 weeks in December, that week in January. And again, I'll be running around and going everywhere and teaching all that week. So no one's going to be available to give you any feedback that final week. And anyway, it's a bit late by then. And January the 9th is hand-in. So, as I say, if you follow it and you get your tutor feedback in term time, then this works really well. If you leave it, then you run the risk that, for very good but slightly regrettable but very good reasons, there might not be anybody available to you to give you feedback in those last weeks in December or that first week in January, because I'm afraid with the best will in the world, it's not going to be humanly possible. So now you know, and you can plan accordingly, right? The other thing I would say around peer feedback is it's up to you to decide how you want to do that. I'll say something on the blog about this, but I think the best way of doing it is actually to organise yourselves into twos or threes and give each other feedback. I think everyone should post everything on the blog so we see it. If you post everything on the blog, I can make some general comments on the blog week by week as well, saying, I noticed people are a bit weak on this, or you need a bit more on that. So I can help by putting general comments on the blog. But in terms of your peer feedback, rather than trying to do that on the blog, I have found with everyone in the whole group sort of giving feedback to everyone, it's a bit much, it's a bit unfocused. What I found works better in the past is if you get together in twos and threes and you work with each other through the term to give each other peer feedback. But I'm going to leave you to organise that for yourselves. Okay.